Well, the leader of the Proud Boys given the most severe penalty so far in the January 6th Capitol riot. Enrique Tarrio now sentenced to 22 years in prison after being convicted of seditious conspiracy. Prosecutors say he played a major role in organizing his group's attack on the Capitol. The judge saying that stiff punishment was necessary to discourage future political violence. So far, more than 1,100 people have been charged in connection with the Capitol riot-related crimes. More than 600 of them have been convicted and sentenced. So joining me now is NewsNation national security contributor Tracy Waldo, former CIA agent, FBI agent. Tracy, thank you for being with us. So we're reporting on Tarrio, now receiving the most time. Are you surprised, though, at the length of these sentences as a whole?
Well, thank you so much for having me, Nichole. If we actually look at what they could have been serving, in his case, it would have been 30 plus years. So really, they're only being sentenced to about half or 2/3 of what the expectation of their sentences could be. So they're actually not serving as stiff of sentences as they could be.
All right. So, the judge in the top of this, we said, saying the stiff punishment necessary to discourage future political violence. Do you think this will act as a deterrent, to future domestic terrorism, to future political violence?
I mean, in short, and I'll be very blunt, no. And the reason is you had one of them who, upon his sentencing, actually, turned around and really just sort of said, Trump won and everything against what he was ultimately convicted of. And I thought that was very interesting because the reality is, and I've done a lot of work with terrorists, you can't kill an idea. And I don't think that as long as these ideas pervade, they're not going to go away. And it's not necessarily a deterrent because they're not viewing themselves as really anything but patriots. And they do believe that these sentences that they received are wrong and that they were wrongly convicted. So I'm not necessarily sure that these serve as a deterrent.
And Tracy, you just said there that you can't kill an idea. Talk about how domestic terrorism, the threat of political violence, has really changed in recent years.
You're absolutely right, Nichole. It really has, particularly within the last 5 to 7 years or so. Look, it's always been around. I don't want to say that it's something new because it's not. But really, if you look at some of these groups like the Proud Boys, the Oath Keepers, they're actually rather new. So they're looking at 2016, 2017, and the way they took off was really spreading through the internet. They have really used the internet to recruit and to espouse a lot of their ideas. And so I think that's really what's made a lot of this kind of take off and spread like wildfire, if you will.
And I know, Tracy, with your time, the CIA, the FBI, you spent time tracking down, terrorists here internationally, domestically. What is being done to combat this? Because, we're concerned, obviously, about it increasing, but is enough being done to stop it so it doesn't get to the level of acts which then result in these potential prison sentences?
Sure. So yes and no. There's a 2023 Domestic Terrorism Prevention Act that was passed, and really what that does is it creates offices within the FBI, within DHS, within the Department of Justice to monitor these groups and allocates more funds to them, which I think is a great start. But the biggest problem is that we don't have a domestic terrorism charging statute. We have a definition of it, but we do not have a domestic terrorism statute. And that's part of the reason why Judge Kelly did not sentence a lot of these to their full sentences, because he had no way to really define them as being terrorists and adding those enhancements to their sentences. So I think that that's a big problem that we need to look at overcoming.
Yeah, certainly something we do need to keep an eye on. Always great speaking with you, Tracy. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.